Welcome to pattern making class. I'm your college instructor, Annette Julie, and today we are going to be making a back armhole facing for a basic bodice. But you can also use this method for the back of a torso, as well as any other type of blouse. So here is a copy of our back. I'm going to take a little piece of paper to slip underneath here to make our facing, and we use a facing so that we can finish the armhole. Let's see here, that one might be a little bit short. Yeah, that'll do just fine. Make sure your piece of paper is long enough, because we have to go up the shoulder and down the side seam at least 2 inches. I'm going to draw a grain line on the piece of paper that I have underneath, right here. Let's get a grain line on there. Go ahead and take your bodice and we're going to line it up, match it with the grain line. I'm using the little X's right here, little cross marks, to line up with that grain line. Now that is ready to copy off the shoulder, armhole, and the side seam. So let's go ahead and trace off our side seam. I'll use a ruler here. And then the bottom of my armhole. I do not need the notches. Do not want the notches in the facings. We only have a 1/4 inch seam allowance and we wouldn't notch that. We've traced off the shoulder, the armhole, the side seam, not the dirt. Now we're going to go ahead and make it the same as we did our front armhole facing. We're going to make this 2 inches wide. We're going to rotate our ruler around the curve here and draw on the edge and mark 2 inches. And then we'll come back with our curve ruler and we'll connect our short lines and blend a continuous curve line. Coming back up here towards the shoulder, let's grab our curve ruler and go ahead and connect those short lines. That looks good. Now we're going to flip that curve ruler and connect the bottom. A little bit more blending to do. That looks great. Now we need to put some seam allowance on our pattern. And we also need to take in the sides and the shoulder a little bit. So up on our shoulder we would put in 1/2 inch seam allowance, and in our side 1/2 inch, and in the armhole we would put in 1/4. And on this outside edge we do not need to add seam allowance. So we need to come down just a little bit here, right here at the edge of the facing. Here's the low point, and here's the 2 inches we added. So at this high point of that facing, you need to come down 1/16 of an inch. It's not very much, but we need to come down and bring that back to low point of our shoulder. We went down, and that's to help reduce bulk at the seam. Now here on the side seam, here's the armhole and here's going down the side seam. We're going to come in 1/8 of an inch at the bottom and then blend back up to 0. And here we've gone in that 1/8 of an inch. Again, helping to reduce some bulk at the side seam and on the shoulder seam. Now we can go ahead and add some seam allowance. Like I was saying, 1/2 inch here at our side seam. 1/2 inch at our shoulder. And then as we go into the armhole section, we will not be putting very much. We're just doing 1/4. And you can make little short lines, 1/4 inch. Let me draw a little straight line here, and then we'll come up 1/4, 1/4. Little short lines as you rotate around the curve of the armhole. That's the curviest part. Now we're going towards the shoulder. This is a little bit straighter. It's still curvy though. We've got all our little short lines on there now, and we can take our curve ruler and come and blend. Always note the direction of the curve ruler and how I place it. We flip it right here. And we'll blend a little bit more right through this area. And that looks good. Facing's ready to cut out. We can go ahead and label it. Cutting out our 1/4 inch seam allowance. If you were sewing this into your bodice, your blouse, this would be for a sleeveless garment. You need a facing for a sleeveless garment. I'm going to go ahead and cut along the bottom edge. Going up towards the shoulder. Need to trim the shoulder. And a little bit here at the side seam. And now we've completely cut that out. And get a grain line here with arrows. And this is our back armhole facing. Cut one in self fabric. Also, cut one in interfacing. Grab a red pen. Interfacing is denoted with red. And this back bodice, of course, would need to have seam allowance on it. But this is how it fits into that armhole. And this helps to finish the armhole and then flip it in so we do not have a raw edge. And this is a separate facing for the armhole. And please watch the video for the separate facing for the front armhole. Thanks so much. This is Annette Julie, and please check out my next video and please subscribe.